Hello and welcome to this quick review for Capstone interns. This is for Safety 492. As you can see on the screen here, I've got our Canvas page. And Dr. Bookman, of course, is the coordinator. This is all hers, but I updated the case study assignment and I wanted to kind of review it, but make sure that everybody has taken time to see who their advisor is, that they've already reached out to them, because you need to be talking to your advisor every couple weeks, and your advisor also needs to be coordinated with talking to your site supervisor every 3 to 4 weeks. As you scroll down, you should have read through the syllabus, and if you haven't, here's a picture of it right here. Make sure you understand what is required of you, what the goal is, that you need a 70% or better to pass, otherwise you have to retake Safety 492. Here's the breakdown of the scoring. The case studies, there's 2 of them. That's worth 30%, but that doesn't include the 5% for your presentation, the 20% for the host review, which comes out of the everyday, but also the big deliverables. And make sure that you're keeping up with the breakdown of the binder portfolio, because it's been made bi-weekly now, and that includes reflections. Dr. Bookman does a great job of describing all the different elements and providing the university statements for you, and I'm just forwarding to the syllabus. So if you haven't already, you should have this printed off and put in your notebook or in your planner or in front of you, so that you make sure you are making and exceeding everything that is expected here. And as you can see here, the second week of the semester, you're required to have the call between the faculty advisor, site supervisor, and yourself. I have 4 assigned interns, and I only have received emails from 2 so far. So get on it. This will affect your grade for sure. Next thing I'd like to do is I want to go over the assignment. And it is located back on the page. If we scroll down to the case study, I'm going to cover these 2 documents right here, the assignment itself and the rubrics. That's what I updated. So here's the assignment. And this, if you had me for analysis and design, this is what we learned from our experiences in spring semester, that it would be better if you as an intern met with your site supervisor to lay out expectations for the case study. Now, we have certain requirements for what we want you to do for the report, but that's based on what would be considered an ideal technique for conducting a case study. And so what you need to be doing is, what do they expect? Does it align with the program and policy of the company? And does it also attend to what the company presumes or postulates as a value? Now, we've operated for the last how many years assuming it was always return on investment or value. But we've listened to several previous and even current Capstone internship supervisors who said that at their company, they don't have to show ROI. It's a nice additional thing, but there are other things they can show to management to show value in order to get them to invest or to agree to recommendations. So you need to determine with your site supervisor before it even begins what is expected, and talk to them and or people within the company to find out, what do they deem as value? What do they want you to research and present to justify your recommendations? Lastly, your report shouldn't just be the standalone thing you're doing for school. We want it to be written to fit into the current program and policy. So you got to find out what that is too. And I think this is going to make it a better report, a more valuable report. And I think it's going to be easier for everybody if we do these things. Here's the executive summary for the assignment. So you have to define the project and set objectives. You need to do research and data collection, and then you need to do an analysis and report writing. And over on the right, I've got some summary of what that means. Always kind of attending back to those 3 basic concepts that we added. So start out by meeting with your site supervisor, maybe others at the company. There's no more guessing or assuming what to expect. That's been a mistake in the past. That you do what you think you should be doing, but it isn't necessarily the right thing. And that the value doesn't have to be financial, but it typically is. Create a plan, verify not only with your site supervisor, but your assigned advisor. So for advisors, the student, before they begin really working on the case study, after they've met with their site supervisor, you should also be approving it. So this is important for you too. Document everything. If it isn't documented, it didn't occur. You're not just trying to get an answer to a question. You're trying to demonstrate that based on evidence, this is something the company could do to, provide value. I'm keeping it general because it should be, but here's a chronological list if you need that. Make sure that that you review these things before they're submitted. And I believe we are going to have an element in which the site supervisor is required to evaluate and sign off on your case study reports before you submit them. Here's a breakdown of what it looks like. And if you've taken 43 with me, it's the same thing. There's a cover page, should be professional, just like what I just showed you. That there is an executive summary. It's written last, but it can be up to 2 pages. I do recommend that you put in pictures, tables, figures, whatever it is to demonstrate the key findings in order to support the value justified or value driven recommendations. If you're going to have a table of contents, it goes in between the executive summary and the first subsection, which is the introduction. The introduction should be long. It should basically be written to where the executive summary is written to management. The introduction and the rest of the report should be written to, say, a sophomore, in our program, or someone who may intern with them next summer. They can pick it up and they can read everything that went into the background of it, the development of it, before you started, laying out the method. It should be written so that they can replicate it. Don't use a bulleted list like we provide in some of the examples. Actually describe what you did from start to finish so somebody could replicate your work. The results should be professional. There should be tables. The table should have titles and numbers. Same with the figures. Same with pictures. And make sure that you're providing a written description of what are the main findings from your data tables and figures and pictures. Then get into the discussion. That's where you actually get into the recommendations. The recommendations should be supported by the evidence provided in the results, and then do whether it's a cost-benefit analysis or just a value analysis to show that this is a good thing to do. So there are the way things are right now, and what you're doing is you're evaluating them either against an external standard or a best practice, or maybe there's something, an idea that an employee has in-house that you're going to show that if we were to pursue these changes, this is what value the company could draw from it. Your references, you have to have references. This isn't just a purely, I'm going to make it up as I go, or this is what this person said. Find actually published, reliable published literature to support it, and then put additional content in the appendices. That would be, if you do like a JHA, well, you put those actual forms there versus the summaries that go into the report itself. Here's some other tips if you need for writing a technical report. These are all things I had referred to in 43. Now, onto the grading rubric. I did update this as well. So 20% of the score will go into you actually taking the time to define the expectations, to get approval from your advisor, and then in the report itself, you're demonstrating that you've met or exceeded the the set expectations. The executive summary is another 20% because it's 2 pages or less, and it's probably only going to be written by management. So there needs to be a very clear narrative of this is what was done and why, and this is what we recommend and why. The technical report itself should be long, but it should be written to someone with no prior knowledge. So maybe you would want someone with minimal prior knowledge at the company to read it, to give you feedback on, I got some questions, I don't understand things. Then the language, grammar, and the overall presentation of the report and the references, all these both get 20%. The technical report is 40%. It's going to be a little bit longer, yeah, but it's good practice for you. You're still in training, as it were, before you start practicing as a safety professional or safety practitioner. So this is a good time to learn the basics and understand the basics. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, you can reach out to your advisor. Your advisor can reach out to me, or you can reach out to me specifically. Should you have any questions regarding these changes, updates to the case study and the case study report. So thanks a lot, and good luck, everybody.